everybody. Today we are going to learn about Native American Navajo blankets. So the Navajo tribe is one of the biggest tribes in America, and it covers the Southwest, so Arizona, Utah, Colorado, and parts of New Mexico. They are very famous for their blankets and their woven blankets. And so I thought, what a cool thing to have an art project on. So that is what we're going to be doing today. All that you need is drawing paper, pencil, a ruler, a black marker, and colors. So not too much. I hope you enjoy this project. Friends, let's start talking about Navajo blankets by looking at some Navajo blanket designs. So here are a few different designs that I printed off the internet. Now I want you to pay attention to the shapes because that is kind of our focus of today. I love the shapes that the Navajo Native Americans used in their blanket. The shapes that they used are typically geometric shapes, is often what you can find. Now, the difference between a geometric shape and an organic shape is that geometric shapes tend to have straight lines, are symmetrical, which means they're the same on either side. Oftentimes they look more man-made, much more angular. An organic shape would be much more fluid and flowing, and you really notice that the Navajo people really focused more on those geometric straight line patterns, and that's kind of what we're going to do today. I have a couple cool pictures I want to show you. This is an older picture taken, I would say, probably turn of the century, 19th century, and you can see kind of the size of this blanket. Now, how do Native Americans make Navajo blankets? Well, it's a old tradition. Here is a picture of two Native Americans working on a weaving loom to make these extraordinary blankets. So it's a very, very cool process. Okay, let's make our own Navajo Native American blankets. To start, you are going to need a blank piece of drawing paper, a ruler. If you don't have a ruler, that's okay. Just try to do the best you can drawing a straight line. Let me zoom up a little bit. And you will need colors, but we're not going to get to that part yet. So I am going to draw a series of lines across my page. Now, if you want these to be the same size all the way across, that's your choice. But if you want the lines to kind of stagger and be different sizes, you can do that as well. I kind of like it when my boxes don't look completely lined up. So I am just drawing straight lines across, but they're not going to be even, meaning that the width of this box is going to be different than the width of this box. But I'm perfectly okay with that because, like I said, I think it kind of looks interesting. The reason we're drawing these boxes, though, is so that we can have kind of a outline of where we want our geometric designs to go. So we're kind of sectioning off, I should say, our paper. Okay, so see, I've kind of done them unevenly, but I think it's going to turn out cool. I think it'll look totally fine. Now, in each section, I am going to do a series of geometric shapes. And after I fill in the whole thing, it'll have like a very, very cool effect. I might flip my paper though to make it a little bit easier. Let me show you what I'm meaning in this first one. See how I'm just doing straight lines that are angular? Like if I was to do, I'm going to do this soft, but if I was to do something more like that, that is beautiful, but it's not really in the tradition of the Navajo Native American. And so since we're kind of learning about how they created their work aesthetically, we're going to stick with the geometric shapes. Okay? So I chose to do these kind of diagonals, and I'm going to make them look a little bit more intricate, but I'm demonstrating, so I'm going quickly. So that's like my first design. I'm going to do something completely different in this box. I'm going to make these kind of, well, they almost look, see if I used a ruler, this would come out a little bit better, so bear with me. These like hexagonal type shapes for this one. So I'm gonna keep going and filling in each section with geometric patterns. As I show you how I do it, I think it'll inspire you and give you some more ideas. All right, now I've got my shapes. You might have noticed I had to do a little, I kind of messed up over here. I thought it would look cool with like a circle, and then I changed my mind, so I erased it. Again, this is why we start with pencil. That way we can kind of take a look and erase if we need to. So, something I want to notice now that I have all of my designs, I want you to notice that in these Navajo blankets in the design, there's a lot of sort of bold outlining of shapes. And I really kind of like the way that looks, how these shapes are sort of outlined, because it really makes the shapes pop out. So our next step is I'm going to take a black marker and I'm just going to outline everything. All right, so my blanket is fully outlined now. Now, all there's left to do is color. Now, I want to show you something. Navajo Native Americans, they are indigenous to Arizona, Colorado, Utah, and New Mexico. And so a lot of the landscape in those areas is rock, which means it's very like red. So that is why there's, in all of these designs, notice how much red is being used, as well as warm colors like yellow and orange. And then, of course, there's some brown and a little bit of black and gray. So I'm really going to focus on using warm colors to kind of stay in that tradition. I'm going to use colored pencils for my colors today, but of course, you use whatever you have. You don't have to use colored pencils. You know, I think I'm going to get rid of that blue. I think I'm going to stick to these colors because these are kind of the traditional Navajo colors. So all there is left to do is color, and I don't have a lot of advice on the coloring. You are the artist. I want you to color however you think looks cool and interesting and important. Yeah, just have at it and have fun. All right, so here is my finished Navajo blanket. Kind of, you could look at it sideways or vertical, whichever way. You might notice that I didn't color every inch of my paper. I left some white intentionally because it kind of gives your eyes a rest. I was a little worried that if I colored every single last bit in it, it would make my eyes a little exhausted. So that might be something you could consider, is to leave a little bit of white. You know, just kind of eases the eye a little bit. But yeah, here we go is my finished Navajo blanket. Hello, I hope you all enjoyed making your own Navajo blanket. I know that I did. I hope that you will venture to make more, create and kind of combine different designs together, and experiment with new geometric shapes, and maybe even use some new colors. It's really, really fun project, and I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to post on my Google Classroom so that I can see what you're working on and comment. It just brings me so much joy when you do that, so don't forget to post what you've done. All right, my friends, have a wonderful day. I hope you enjoyed this project.